Croeso, welcome to this session this morning with some students and some staff of the Royal Welsh College of Music and Drama. My name is Carol and I'm head of the Harp Department here. Fi yw pennaeth yr adran Delyn a fi'n disgwyl mlaen yn fawr iawn I cael cyfle I siarad gyda chi bore yma. Thank you for joining us, and I'd just like to introduce a few other people for you. The first person is Tim. Tim is Director of Music.
Bore da pawb. Good morning everyone. Diolch Caryl. Dwi'n cyfarwyddwr cerdd, dwi eitha newydd yn y swydd. I'm the Director of Music here at the Welsh College since April the 1st, which is a rather odd position to be in because I've not actually been to the building since I've been in post, but that is all changing very, very soon. It's lovely to see you here today, and we hope to be of any help that we can. Thank you.
And also Kevin Price, who is Head of Music Performance at the college.
Hi everybody, welcome. Thanks for being with us. As Tim was saying, it's a chance for us to get to know you, so we're really looking forward to hearing your questions and learning a little bit more about you. If you, after this session, find that you've got any questions you didn't ask or want to have a private chat about anything at all, just email admissions and we'll get back to you personally. So please don't think you've missed the opportunity if you don't ask a question this morning, or if there's anything burning in your brain after the session that you want to get back to us about. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for being with us, and back to you, Carol.
Thank you, Kevin. So we have a few students here now who will explain and share some of their experiences with you. But if you have a question, please either raise your hand or write it in the chat box, but also we will have a question and answer session at the end. So first of all, I'm going to introduce you to Cerys Rees. Cerys Rees has just completed her 3rd year and going into the 4th year, and she's going to tell you a little about the undergraduate course. What she'll explain is sort of a day in the life of an undergraduate, or a week, or what happens during her studies here at college.
Hello. Yeah, so pretty much a day or a week in the life is you'd get up, go to college, and you'd practice an hour or two. I use the college harps, and we have 2 harp rooms. And we have, I think, is it 6 harps? Yeah, and we've got salvies and line and heelys, and we've got 1 kamak. So I use the college harps, but I have brought my own, and I keep it in my room in Cardiff. So yeah, after maybe an hour or 2 of practice, you might have an oral class or a harmony class or a musical context class. And these are with everyone in your year. So your oral and harmony are split up into smaller groups, and the musical context is usually the whole year group. So that's really nice because you get to meet new people straight away. And then maybe after that, I would practice a little bit more and meet my friends for lunch in the canteen in the Students' Union. And then in the afternoon, there's usually another academic class, and you can practice some more. And then things that are added on to that are like orchestra rehearsals, and these can be like symphony orchestra or the chamber orchestra. We've got lots of various groups in college which the harps are needed for. We also have performance classes once every 2 weeks, so that usually they're in the morning. But yeah, we'll have those. And then you have your chamber rehearsals with your group, and we also have chamber coaching with a member of staff. We also have jazz lessons with Amanda Whiting, which happen every term, and so they're really nice because it's something completely different to what you're learning already in college. And I also find a lot of time in the week to collaborate with the composing students. And with this, it's either teaching them how to write for the harp or helping them record their pieces, that kind of thing, because they need the help, they need to learn about the harp. So yeah, I love doing that. It's so fun. Recording is the best thing. Just say yes to everything. But yeah, there's plenty of time to practice in college, and you can always fit it in around your classes. Like, I always found it's much nicer to practice during the day now, because it's school. I would only practice in the evenings and after I've done all my schoolwork. So it's nice because you've got a lot more time to just relax into the practice. And then, yeah, in the evenings, we'll go to the Students' Union for a drink with friends or with the department. We also have Harp Nights Out every term, at least one every term, which are the best nights. We've gone to some postgrad houses, and we've done like fajita nights, or we'll go to the Students' Union and we'll have a night out at the Live Music Thursdays, which is when college students play in like a pop band for the night. And then they usually end up in town, so they're always good fun. And then, yeah, when you get to your third and fourth year, you can start to choose modules that you would like to take. So last year, in my third year, I took concert planning and I've taken outreach, and that's something that I really enjoy. And outreach is something that I'm taking next year. In my fourth year, I'm actually also going to take contemporary music, because we had a masterclass with Rodri Davis, who is all about contemporary and wacky music. And that's something I've really taken interest in, and I'm looking at graphic scores. So Carol is really there to support you in what you want to do. So if you want to do something completely different, they're really supportive in the department for you to be able to do that. And we actually had a student last year who took early music, and she learned to play the triple harp and performed her recital on the triple harp. So again, very supportive department. In whatever you want to do, you'll be able to do it.
Thank you, Keris. That sounds great. That sounds a busy week.
Not everything happens at the same time. So symphony orchestra, you'll have like a week of rehearsals, but that's not throughout the whole term, because that's leading up to a concert. And then your chamber rehearsals, they are when you pick them to be, because you book the rooms yourself, and when you can find time with your group. And you can choose to be in as many chamber groups as you like, or as little. I only usually have one every year, but there are people who are in several. And then we also have Chamber Tuesdays. So that's when you can play with your chamber group in the foyer, which is really lovely. And that's something you can choose to do or not to do. We usually do a department one, which we all play in as well, which is really nice.
Thanks, Keris. So now I'm going to move on to postgraduate and to Anna Zimbothi, who's actually speaking to us from Budapest, because she is an international student as well. Anna.
Yeah, hi everyone. First of all, can you hear me okay and everything is okay? So on the postgrad course, we actually have less lectures than for the undergraduates, but it's because so we can practice more. I'm on performance course. And our lectures in first year were based around two main modules, the informed musician and the professional musician. In full, we had 5 submissions to make, and which were spread throughout the year. The professional musician was mainly focusing on our career development and critical thinking, where we had to write professional CVs, action plans, article reviews, and a self-directed project as well, in which we could fully focus on how our future career can be improved, so we could choose topics for ourselves. And the informed musician focused more about academical work as well as performance practice. And the 2 main projects in the informed musician were centering how one should give a fully informed performance of a chosen piece. Next to our lectures, we had many other opportunities, both for collaborations as well as orchestral playing and solo performances, most of which actually Keris already said. But I worked with 5 composition students, a flautist, a singer, with whom I actually performed non-classical pieces such as Joanna Newsom and Sufjan Stevens. and also, of course, with the harp ensemble. But you can also audition to play side by side with the orchestras of the BBC and Welsh National Opera. There are also opportunities to play with ensembles in college, but also outside of college. And Carol usually organizes concerts outside of college, although unfortunately these were cancelled this term. And I also auditioned for the higher performer stream, which I would recommend you to do as well in the undergrad as well, where you can get paid gigs as well as more performing opportunities. And lastly, I think it's important to say that you also have time for part-time jobs next to the college.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you very much indeed. So now we go on to Mared Pugh Evans, who is going to talk to us a little bit more about the college on a sort of more, maybe an international platform.
Hello. So the college is obviously based in Wales, but the department in particular has quite an international outlook. So every term we'll have harpists from around the world that'll come in and we'll give a concert or masterclass. So normally once in the autumn term and once in the spring term. We've had people like Emmanuel Saison, Isabel Peran, Annalene Lenat, Sasha Boldachev, and they've come in and they normally come in over 2 days. So on the first day they'll give a concert, which is normally a lunchtime light, so it'll happen lunchtime, and then they'll normally stay on for another day and we'll have a full day of masterclasses where everybody will have a chance to play. We normally have about a half hour to 45 minutes each, which is a really long time. Normally in a masterclass you wouldn't get that long. So it's really nice atmosphere and it's really nice time for everybody to sit down, and because we normally play all the same rep or we've got a standard repertoire, it's nice to be able to sit and hear the perspective of all of these different amazing harpists on these pieces. And I think we've all really enjoyed, because normally you're playing a piece and somebody else is playing the same piece, so even if you don't get the chance to play that piece, you get this chance to sit down and listen to one of the forefront harpists of our time talk about it and teach somebody else. So it's a really amazing opportunities you can get through that. Also, if you're coming in September, you'll be lucky enough to be in college and in Cardiff for the World Harp Congress, which was of course meant to happen this summer, but because of everything going on in the world, it's been postponed to next summer. So to be in Cardiff and to be in the college when everybody who's anybody in the harp world will all be congregating in Cardiff in one place is the most amazing thing. And for a lot of us, it'll be the only time where we can go, because it won't come back to Cardiff in our lifetime. So that will be such an amazing opportunity to just soak up the most phenomenal harpists. Also, we're really lucky, the department, because of Carol, she will let you do whatever you want competition wise. So if competing is something you want to do, and I've been doing it since I was really little and I've loved doing it, she will push you to do whatever you want to do and to be the best that you can be. So since being in college, I've done at least one competition a year. I've been out to Italy, I've been out to Zagreb, in Budapest, and I did the festival in Carnarvon, the International Harp Festival there, and you can go on just harp courses if competing is something you're not into. Like Harris went on Ibicus with head of department from the London Conservatoires. You can really tailor the degree and how you spend your time however you want. So I knew it was really important to me to keep on competing and to do more and bigger competitions. And Carol was so supportive in that and helped me with timetabling my time in college with the added repertoire of competitions as well. But then if competing is something you don't want, you don't enjoy, you don't have to, you'll have so many just concert opportunities. Like we, every term, 2 terms out of 3, we have a lunchtime light. So everybody in the department plays, be it a solo, be it a duet. We've done stuff with other ensemble groups or with a flautist or with singers. We collaborate quite a lot with the singers. So if competing is not what you want, but you like performing, there's an abundance of opportunities like that. And like Anna said, you can go on the high performer scheme. I've been really lucky. I've been on it for 2 years and I've had so much work through it, even if it's just background music, playing in the Senedd and stuff like that. there's so many opportunities in Cardiff if you just take them, and they can help you further afield as well, not just here.
Good. Thank you very much, Merit. That's excellent. So let's now move on to Jemima, who's going to tell you a little bit about living in halls.
Hello. I've lived in halls this past year. I'm a second year student, so you can choose how many years you want to live in halls. So I moved from a different university, so I've just done 1 year here at college, but there are people in my house who are in first year, so everyone in first year goes into halls. There's 6 people per flat, so that's quite a nice number, and you can choose if you want all girls, all boys, mixed. I had a mixed flat. In each bedroom you have your own ensuite with a shower, loo, sink, so that's really convenient because it's just you don't need to share with anyone else. And then there's a shared kitchen and living room which you can have sofas, so it's sort of like half and half, so that's really nice. You can just chill out while making food, or just chilling with friends, bringing friends over, that's fine. In your bedroom again, you've got a small double with a really large desk, which was so helpful, and lots of storage. And as a harpist, you're probably all wanting to know whether the harp can fit in your room, and it can. I've had my harp in my room all year. One tip, if you are coming, is ask for a ground floor flat, or a flat that's in a building with a lift, because they don't all have lifts. So I've been in a ground floor flat this year, which has been amazing, and I don't move it at all. I use the college harps, like what's already been said, when I'm at college, and the only time I move my harp is when I'm going home for the holidays. On site there's a laundry facility, so when you get there you buy a laundry card, and there's washers and dryers, and they're really easy to use. 2 buttons and you're away. There's also 24-hour security, and really kind on-site team who are there for any questions you have. And they've newly built a new common room, which I've not actually been in, but I've heard that it's like amazing, and it's got pool tables, tellies, sofas, everything you sort of want. And that's also where you collect your post. Yeah, it's about 20-minute walk to college, 20 minutes, half an hour, but that's really easy. And during the year, I've often come back for lunch times. So you can either eat at the canteen in the SU, or come home and make it at home, or make it at home and take it in. Like, you've got so many options. So yeah, I hope that's answered everything.
Thank you, Jemima. So I hope that's given you a little bit of an insight into your day and what to expect during the week in college. Before we ask for your questions, I think Kevin is going to give us a little bit of a talk about the audition process.
Thanks, Carol. It's really lovely to hear the students talking about their sort of journey through college life. And it always strikes me, it's amazing when people arrive at college. You know, we start off with this sort of student-teacher relationship and eventually move through into a much more sort of collegial relationship where you're kind of apprentice professionals and we're working as your agent. It comes through very, very clearly that, you know, all of our student team are speaking as colleagues, really. So it's been fantastic to hear that. Thank you so much for your contribution. Just to let you all know that the audition process this year is going to be entirely online. We've decided to do that for health and safety reasons, and also just to give everybody a really uniform experience. So when you apply online, you'll be asked to submit a recorded audition in support of your application, and that'll be submitted through a OneDrive link that you'll receive, and we'll ask you to submit your recording by Monday the 19th of October. It will be in MP4 format and be an audio-visual recording and For harp, you'll be asked to prepare 2 contrasting pieces and select pieces which allow you to demonstrate the full extent of your technical and expressive ability. We also encourage you to perform from memory. Once we've reviewed your recording with a member of our harp teaching team, we'll also then invite you for a live audition. Well, I say live audition, a live online audition interview with 2 members of our teaching staff. And that's where we'll ask you a few questions. We'll get into your head a little bit about what you want to get out of college. And we'll also ask you questions derived from your personal statement. So when you are writing that personal statement, bear in mind that that gives you the power to generate the questions that the panel asks you. So write in a way that really gets us feeling curious about you, where you've come from, what you want to get out of college, and where you want to be in the future. So the big message for now is it will be online audition process. You'll be able to upload your audio-visual recording of 2 contrasting pieces, and we'll hope to receive that by Monday, the 19th of October. And then we'll look forward to interviewing you online after that. So that's it from me for now. Thanks very much. And over to you, Carol, for some questions.
Okay, thank you very much, Kevin. So hopefully we'll see you online soon then with some videos. So we'll answer some of the questions that have been sent in, but please, if you do think of a question, do put it in the chat, or we'll be opening it up soon. There's a question here from Hannah, who asked, how often do visiting professors play a role in the course? Visiting professors, we are very lucky, we're very fortunate to have lots of international specialists, soloists, teachers to come and visit the college. You might know that Catherine Finch comes in once a term, so she gives a day-long masterclass, and that's every term, so you get a chance to play for her, and you get a chance for her to see how you're developing. Isabel Perran also is a very regular visit to the college, and she's very much appreciated because she's a great teacher, and you really want to actually practice before she comes, because she'll pick you up on a lot of things. So it's fantastic that she comes. I think Mared has mentioned some of the artists that come and give recitals and come and give master classes following those. So she has mentioned quite a few of them, as well as the regular sort of international soloists. We also have artists visit that maybe aren't on that specific sort of path. So as Keris mentioned, we had Rodri Davis, who's a contemporary harpist. We have people like Park Stickney come, he's a jazz harpist. Lavinia Mayer came and gave a recital and a masterclass, and that was fascinating because she concentrated on the work of Philip Glass. So that's something completely different. And then Katrina Mackay also did some classes on folk harp. So it's not just your regular concert harpist. So we do try and cover all genres, which is very interesting. And of course, we're in the process of talking to some nice new artists for next year as well. Is there anything, Hannah, that you'd like to follow up on that? Or shall I go to your next question? I'll go to your next question and see where we can move from there. Is composition available as an option within instrumental study? And I think maybe I'll pass this on to Kevin, if that's all right.
Thanks, Carol. Composition modules can be taken up as electives as you get into the sort of later second, third year of your course, so you can experience the opportunity to do a little bit of arranging and work with some of the composition staff. We've got some examples of people in other departments who have kept their composition skills going whilst focusing in on their main discipline. There's a fantastic clarinetist at the moment and a bassoonist who are active composers. And actually, they've been able to nurture that aspect of their artistry without taking a formal route through the college program. And whilst focusing in on their principal studies on their main instrument, they have been able to collaborate with composition staff and also students to get their work performed. In fact, one of those, Sarah Jenkins, the clarinetist, won BBC Composer of the Year and had her piece performed by the College Symphony Orchestra. And she hadn't actually opted to take a formal composition module or even to be in the composition department. So I think the answer is, you know, to be Mus, and Mus means music. So even though you'll have this principal study and this formal pathway through college, the opportunity to explore other areas of your artistic personality are very much there, and we're very interested in those. So don't be too bound by the concept of formal academic pathways. If you've got something beyond your main discipline as a harpist, we're very interested in helping you to develop that, expand that, and to become sort of your natural shape by the end of the course. So I hope that helps. If you've got any more that you'd like to know about that, just send admissions an email and they can hook me up with you, and I'll happily have a deeper conversation if that would be helpful. Thanks.
Thank you, Kevin. Another question from Hannah is, what are the accommodation arrangements and how many first years are guaranteed living through the conservatoire? Kevin, do you know, is everybody in the first year guaranteed a space in? Yes. So
In
I think
halls.
as a first year, you are guaranteed a space in accommodation. So, and then it's up to you to decide what you want to do. And Ernest, what is expected of us in the first year, how to prepare for the audition? And I think general accommodation questions, I think we might have covered that, but I can see that you've got another question in the chat saying, what opportunities are there for professional work experience during the 4 years? So professional work experience, you are allowed to audition for BBC Now and WNO, and the side-to-side scheme is very successful. I think Marit did you do this? How was it? How did you enjoy that? What was the process?
So I did it this year. So I think you can audition from third year upwards, I think. So you have to get a first in your orchestral exit exam. So that normally happens right at the end of March, the last week of term. And if you score 70 or higher in that exam, then you'll be asked if you want to audition for the scheme. And that would normally happen in October, November time. You'll either Catherine, who was with WNO, she would come in, and Val with BBC Now. And it would be a formal orchestral audition. So you'd have to play a piece, a standard rep piece, and they would ask you to prepare, I think we had to prepare about 7 excerpts each, so there's 14 altogether. And they'll ask you whichever ones they want. You won't know, but they'll ask you, so you have to prepare all of them. And then you normally find out at the end of that week if you've got it or not. So I was lucky enough to be put on the scheme this year. Unfortunately, with everything going on, I was only able to go in to BBC once for one set of rehearsals before everything got stopped, because I was meant to go in again at the end of March and in May, June and July, and I was meant to go into WNO. But it was such a surreal experience, because you're sat in a professional orchestra, one of the best ones in Wales, next to the principal harpist, and you just play. And it was the most amazing experience, because you feel that you're part of something so amazing, and it was inspiring, really inspiring. And Val was so lovely. I went over to her house the night before our first rehearsal to run through all the music and to make sure that I'd prepared it all properly. So one thing I would say, make sure that you're prepared very thoroughly, because there's nothing worse, even in a college orchestral experience, there's nothing worse than being sat there and having no idea what your part is, where you fit in, what the conductor's doing. So it's really important to be as prepared as you can. And yeah, it was such a lovely, nurturing environment. And I was expected to know my stuff, but they also were aware that it's work experience. So you're going to make mistakes and you're going to come in wrong, or you're going to get a bit lost. But the harpists are there, so Val and Catherine were there to help you and guide you through it and give you tips and tricks and kind of the little tricks of the trade that you wouldn't know. So it's such a special scheme, between the college and the two orchestras that I'd highly recommend doing it.
Thank you, Marid. And also I should mention that there are some sort of semi-professional and amateur orchestras in Cardiff. And I know that the City of Cardiff Symphony Orchestra always comes to the college to ask for harpists. And they do about, I don't know, 5 or 6 concerts a year. And we usually provide them with harpists, whoever wants to do that particular concert. So other professional work experience, we do concerts. We try and give as many concerts as possible in various locations. We're always asked for harpists for events, dinners, and then we try and find as much work as possible. So thank you. Arwen, does that answer your question? Yeah? Okay, thank you. And then from Ernest, how will we be assessed throughout the year? So there are 3 or 4, 5 assessments. There's an assessment at just before Christmas, a short assessment. Then in the spring term there are 3 assessments, a technical assessment, a chamber music assessment, and a orchestral experience or orchestral excerpts assessment. And then at the end of the year there is your final or second assessment. So we keep an eye on you throughout the year, but we manage the workload and we help you to prepare throughout the year. So for example, by now, all the students going into the next year will have decided on their repertoire. We've had a chat with Keris and we've sort of decided, and with Anna, they know exactly what their repertoire is for the next year. They know what the chamber commitments are. They know what the excerpts will be. So it's a way of getting ahead. I would say that you really need to be on top of it, because you can't just leave it and hope to just learn things quickly just before the assessment deadline. So we try and help you manage it, and it usually is a workload that is manageable and that you can get through it. So thank you for that. Diolch Ernest, diolch Anwen. How many harpists are there typically in each graduate year? Well, it depends. It depends on the intake that year. A couple of years ago, we had 5 harpists in a year, and then the next year it was only 2. So it does depend from year to year. So we look for potential, we look on how you'll fit into the department, and whether you're actually up to a certain level already. But I would say potential is a great factor as well. So we will take as many harpists as we want to, really, if we can feel that we can work with you. Kevin, do you want to add something to that, or are you happy with that?
Very happy with your excellent answer. Thank you, Carol.
Kevin, thank you. Is it possible to not bring my harp in and practice on the college harps? Yes, certainly. We have 6 college harps, as I think Keris mentioned. They are serviced every year. They are great harps, 2 Line and Healy 23s. We have 3 Salvis, including an Apollo, a Kamak harp. Then we also have smaller harps like a Grecian, if you want to try and learn some classical sonatas on that, some triple harps. So you don't need to bring your harp into college. In a way, it's better that you don't bring your harp into college, because there's more room then, because lots of harps in college take up a lot of room. So there's more room for the college harps. We have 2 dedicated practice rooms, and also access to a third, which we share with the Historic Instruments department. So we have enough time to practice, and you can practice up until college finishes at sort of 9:30 at night. So there's plenty of time to practice on college harps. Have I answered every other question there now? Thank you. Yes. Thank you very much. So are there any other questions that might have come out of whatever anybody has said this morning? Are there any others? Okay. So, well, it's been lovely to meet you. Kevin or Tim, is there something that you would like to say to finish?
I mean, I think I'd just like to say that obviously this has been a very unsettled time for everyone, particularly those of you who have just been doing your A-levels, perhaps. But as somebody who's so new to the college myself, what I would just like to say is how supportive the college has been through this whole period, which I hope all of our community would agree. We are looking at the ways in which we can open up safely, always prioritizing the well-being of our students and our staff. And with those of you who are looking at coming in September 2021, I very much hope the situation is going to be very different. For those of you who are new to Wales, as the students are saying, the atmosphere in Cardiff is very welcoming. There's a lovely sense of safety. The park that the college opens out onto is absolutely beautiful, and with so many wonderful professional orchestras, performance spaces in Cardiff, there's a really lovely, active, artistic life. But there is also the feeling that Cardiff is almost like a big village. So I think there's a great atmosphere that would welcome you when you come. We look forward to hearing more, and thank you for coming along today, and I hope we've answered lots of your questions. Kev, over to you.
Thanks, Tim. Whilst you were speaking, a couple of quickies came in. One of them is, how are we going to offer consultation lessons given the situation we're in? The answer to that is get in touch with admissions. They'll hook up with Carol and we'll work a way of giving you an online feedback moment and to give you a bit of support. And that kind of links into what I wanted to say actually as a general comment, was the learning experience and the sort of feeling of being part of the college family starts now with today. And if you feel that you need to reach out, you're feeling uncertain about anything during this weird period and the period leading up to your audition, just get in touch with us. You know, you're already part of the team. And that also applies when people have left college. Support for graduates and young professionals is there throughout their career. So it's really a contract for life that we're looking at, not just for 4 years or 2 years if you're a postgraduate student. So that's the general comment I was going to make. And then just to answer one final specific question, are there electronic studio facilities to use? The simple answer to that is yes. And we have an amazing team who work with the composition department, and Odilon Marcinaro is the sort of technical and studios man who can link you up with recording work and support from composition and electroacoustic specialists who can help you to do creative work in that area. So that's my general pink and fluffy thank you summary, and also specific answers to the final questions. And just thank you for being with us. It's a real pleasure to have you here, and we're looking forward to seeing your audition videos and to the online interview as well. That's it from me.
Diolch yn fawr. Thanks, Kevin. Diolch yn fawr I chi gyd. Thank you very much for joining us today. I should say that we can offer consultation lessons. I will be doing that on Zoom. So we've been doing our online teaching this term via Zoom, and we seem to have got that working quite well. So if anybody wants to get in touch with me and to have a consultation lesson, they are very welcome to. Just try doing so throughout admissions, or if you want to contact me directly, you are very welcome to. My email address is carol.thomas@rwcmd.ac.uk. So please feel free to just get in touch with me, and we can continue any discussions that you might need to have. So diolch yn fawr I chi gyd. And I think that's about it. So it's been lovely to see you, and hwyl fawr I chi gyd.